If you want to use VS Code like a pro, you got to make sure you got it set up correctly. I'm going to show you which extensions to use, what snippets are and how to use them, and then finally, what hotkeys are and how to use them. And the best part is, it's going to be too easy. So sit back, relax, let's do it. All right, so first thing we're going to cover is extensions. So I'm just going to come over here and click on my extensions tab, and I'm going to scroll down, and you can just look at every single extension I use. So you can see I've got different ones for different languages, but some of them are useful regardless of what language you use. I'm a web developer, so I'm going to show you ones that help with web development. So the first one I'm going to talk about is this one right here, Amazon Q for command line. So if I open up my command line and I say CD, this thing automatically knows what all my files are. And I have this set up with my computer in general. So when I open up my terminal, it does it here as well. And so I'm going to show you how to set that up. So what you're going to do is head over to this website. I'll have it in the description. What you're going to do is come down and you're going to get this, the command line. You're just going to click this and then it's going to prompt you to download it. So this is entirely free. So once you get it downloaded, you're going to open it up and then you're going to come over here to integrations. And then it's got a couple things right here. So I use iTerm 2. So I've already enabled this and then I've enabled it for VS Code. So once you do that, it should work for both. And then you can come in here and you can adjust this a little bit. You do your preferences, set it up however you want. So the next one that I use is very simple, is this one right here, auto rename tag. All it does is if I change this to a P tag, it does it on both. The next one I suggest is code spell checker. So you're writing some code, you say const people equals whatever, and then you misspell this, and so it has this blue line. But let's say you want this to not be an error. You come down here, spelling, you say add words to user settings. This helps a lot with preventing a lot of bugs. So you definitely should be using this. The next one you definitely need, and which you probably already have if you're a React developer, is this right here. This has a lot of things. So let's say, for instance, I'm creating a new page. I say RFCE, I click enter, and then it automatically generates all this code, and it includes a lot more than just that. Another one that is an absolute game changer right here, GitHub Copilot. This one costs $10 a month, but once you do it, you start typing in code. So I say const fruits equals an array. Okay, see, my spell checker's helping me out. And then this thing is automatically going to generate, it thinks it wants to be like that. No, I don't want it to be like that. I just want it to be a name. So now this thing knows what's going on. And so a lot of people don't like Copilot because it generates code that is not correct. But for simple things like this, it is very, very helpful with. So I would not rely on this to write you perfect code. Sometimes it suggests like things that are like 20 lines long, and I wouldn't just trust that, but it oftentimes is correct. And for me, it speeds up development significantly. So another one we got right here is HTML tag rack. So let's say I have a bunch of code, and what some people would do is they say, okay, I'm going to create a div, and then they have to get rid of this part and then come over here and do it like that. You do not have to do it like that. If you have this extension, all you have to do is highlight whatever you want, and then I click Option W, and then it automatically wraps it in a P tag. And because I have this, the auto rename tag, then all I have to do is type in div and boom. And this is just very handy, and I use it all the time. Another one that I use is indent rainbow. So I'm sure you've seen this on a lot of people's videos. It's got these colors right here. And if you go to settings, the JSON settings, and you come down here, you can actually change the colors and you can make this whatever you want. So I can make this way brighter. And now if I come over here, so in order to see this, I click reload now. And now we can see that this is the exact color that I just did. So I'm going to change this back because this looks hideous. Another one that I really like, it makes it look a little bit cooler, and it also helps a lot. Instead of this all just being these generic looking folders, the public folder looks like this. The source folder looks like this. And so in order to do that, you get this one right here, material icon theme. And then what you can do is you can come into your settings, and then you come right here to material icon theme.folders.associations. So I have something called, when I write down actions, I want it to have the server emblem. And there's a couple default ones like admin, it would have something, but I didn't want that. I just wanted it to be a blank, normal looking folder. So you can change all of that in here. Another one that you absolutely need to be working is Prettier. This makes it so much easier. You write a bunch of code, you do whatever you want, You do all this stuff, and then you click save. It automatically formats it for you. And so in order to make it automatically format when you click save, you're going to come over here to settings JSON, and then you're going to do editor.format on save. And you're going to set that to true. So now every time you click Command S, it's automatically going to format it for you. So now I'm going to teach you about snippets. So I do console log all the time. And sometimes, if you do console log and you're using Copilot, it'll know what you want. But what I have set up is every time I click the letter L, boom, it knows that I want console log. I've also set some other ones up. So I have use T, and this one is much longer because I use this pattern many, many times throughout all of my apps. And so you can create snippets that are as simple as this or as complex as you want with as many lines as you want. So I'm going to show you how to set that up now. You're going to open your command palette with Command Shift P, and you're going to type in snippets, and you're going to go to configure user snippets. And then you're going to have to do this for each type of file. So right here, this is the TSX file. So we're going to come right here to TypeScript JSX, and you can see in here, I already have some snippets. So how you do it is you name it whatever you want. This doesn't really matter. And then you give it a description, which also doesn't really matter. The two things that matter are the prefix and the body. So the prefix right here, I have L. So when we come in a TypeScript file, we click the letter L. This is what makes it pop up in this dropdown. The body is then what it produces, which for this one is very simple. And this $1 is where my cursor would be. So right here for this one, use transition, this is much longer. And I'm going to show you what my cursors do right here. So if I come here, I say use T, I click enter. You can see I have two cursors that are right here. Handle, click, blank button, blank action. So let's say this is login. And then I click tab, and then it goes, I have programmed it to come up to here, so then I can automatically import use transition like that. And then if I click tab once more, it comes over here to toast, and then you can import that. And so if we come over here, these numbers are the order in which it's going to do it. So if I say $1 right here, and if I come up here and I say L, it gives me two cursors that are the first time. If I come over here and I say, right here, I say $2. So now what this is going to do is, so if I click L, my first two cursors are going to be right here, and then I type in whatever. And now if I click tab, it's going to send my one cursor right here. You can make this very complex. And so if you look closely at this, what I have set up is I've written this right here so that it automatically handles the capitalization correctly. So if you ever use state and use the snippet, you see you have two cursors right here. And let's say we call this user info, and then you click tab. You can see that this U was lowercase, but then when I click tab, it capitalizes it. And so what's going on under the hood is some code that looks exactly like this. So you can use ChatGPT to figure out exactly what it is, what you want to do. So the last thing you need to do is set up your hotkey. So if you type in Command Shift P and then you type in keyboard shortcuts, you can do the JSON or the UI. I always use the UI version. So there's a lot of things that you can do in here. You can customize this any way you want. The way I have set it up, if you look over here, here are a majority of the ones that I have customized. So what I have set up is a very good way to move around. So if I click Command and I click J, I'm now moving the cursor to the left with just my right hand. If I click Command L, I'm moving just to the left. Command K, down. Command I, up. So basically, this is where my pointer, middle finger, and ring finger already are. And so when I click Command, I basically turn J, K, L, and I into arrow keys. And so I do this all the time. So this is very simple. If I click Command Shift J, now it's going to go left by a word, and it's going to highlight. If I click Command H, it goes home. And if I click Command semicolon, it goes to the end. So I do stuff like this all the time. And so I can very quickly do a bunch of stuff. So some others that I use all the time, I click Command Option I, and now it moves this lineup easily. And so my hands pretty much never move from where they normally are typing. So once again, here are all of the things that I have set up custom. Feel free to adopt as many of those as you want, but also experiment with this and do whatever works for you. And so one thing, however, is, so I have a keyboard this is my keyboard right here. So when my fingers are right here, my thumb is naturally on the command key. It's a very natural feeling. On my previous keyboard, I had this mechanical keyboard. No, this is not it. But this is my previous keyboard. And when my hands are right here, my thumb would be naturally right here. So it's a very awkward, this puts a lot of weird tension on your wrist. So, and this works very well for me, the way that I've set these hotkeys up, because of the way that my keyboard is. So I go like this, my thumb naturally comes right here to the command. So depending on the keyboard that you have, you might not like this. Vim motions are a thing that are very popular, but that is too intense. There's too many things. There's too much to learn. Maybe it would be beneficial in the long run, but I have just set this up. So I would recommend toying around with this and trying it out. So there it is. You learned something? Subscribe. You want to learn some more? Watch this video right here. See you next time.